Hey, how's it going? It is political integrity news here, and I wanted to give you the breaking news story that not many if at all of the mainstream media is going to cover this. And the reason why is because when this first got released, there was just allegations. Then it was this weekend, they'll be releasing an affidavit that should further explain more, and the affidavit is going to be signed, notarized, and will hold just as much weight in court as if the person was actually there speaking. But as the affidavit was released, there was the assassination attempt on Trump. So, because of that, it overshadowed this affidavit. And I spoke to this before. This affidavit is on the debate and how the Kamala Harris campaign conspired with ABC News to ensure that she would win the debate. So let's take a look. So as you see, they blacked out a lot here on this affidavit. State of New York, September 9th. Person make the following statement under penalty of perjury. Then they worked for ABC News for over 10 years in various technical and administrative positions. Since the acquisition of ABC News in 1996, I observed significant transformations in the nature of news reporting at the organization. These changes suggest a shift from unbiased reporting to a model influenced by external factors. For the record, I do not endorse Donald Trump in his capacity as candidate for president of the United States. The intent of this affidavit is to address concerns regarding perceived biases within news reporting within my employer's debate that will be hosted on September 10th. Observations on the debate communications. Since the debate of President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris has been announced to be broadcast on ABC, various members of staff had expressed hopes of a debate where issues that were important to everyday Americans would be discussed, and that there had been promises made that the candidates would be held to a firm discussion regarding their proposed policies, stances, and that the debate would not curate into an ad campaign where both candidates would simply make blanket statements without specific policy or explanation, and the rest is blanked out. I'm not sure. A lot of this is blanked out to try to cover up who exactly the person is, or lawyer, and things that might identify them until this would go for court. But as you know, I am firmly on policies, facts, and everything of this sort. Political position clarification. Many employees of ABC who are looking for a fair and honest debate question clear bias that is well known throughout the company. It's common knowledge that the debate moderators, as well as chief executive officers of my employer, are well known to support Donald Trump. This led to several employees speaking up in regards to how fair the debate was going to be. We were given assurances that the debate would be fair, and neither the Harris campaign nor Trump campaign would. I'm not sure why they blanked this out. Unfair advantage. Concerns regarding journalistic integrity. Is my belief that contemporary news organizations, including ABC News, no longer adhere to impartiality. The influence of commercial interests and substantial donors appear to affect news presentation, resulting in selective reporting and biased narratives, which we've seen it. I mean, just look at the Hunter Biden laptop story. It was first broke, was it Fox News? And other news outlets tried to slap it down. Like they were saying it's misinformation. And it wasn't until after the election that you found out from all news outlets that it was in fact true. But then they said they couldn't validate the legitimacy of the emails that were found on the laptop. And they were still doing an investigation. And in that investigation, has anything came out in some of the emails that were being stated? No. Nothing really came out in that aspect. There was a lot of shadiness and claims from the emails. And it was, in fact, his laptop. And a lot of voters said that in polling, they would have switched their vote to Trump had they known that the Hunter Biden laptop was actually Hunter Biden's laptop and that it was, in fact, a true story. And in the polling, they suggested that could have swayed enough people that Trump could have won that election. Observations pertaining to debate fairness. I've noted specific instances related to the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris that raised concerns about procedural fairness. The specific instances of perceived bias are as follows. The Harris campaign received particular accommodations, including but not limited to the providing of a podium significantly smaller than that used by Donald Trump and assurances regarding split screen television views that would favorably impact Kamala Harris. So let's check it. Can we find picture. So I mean, that looks much smaller than that. So as you see, they ain't lying on this one. See the podiums? Smaller podium. She's shorter than Trump. And Trump and his campaign said that Michael Bloomberg wanted to have risers and stuff at the debate and that it wasn't a thing. But let's just take it back to the Democrat. Yeah, Democrat primary debate. Look at this one. Across the board, it does not look like anyone has a smaller in size podium. I mean, here. And then, like, come on. It doesn't look like they have any kind of smaller podiums. But in the Trump debate, let's see, podiums again, not smaller. But in the Trump debate, she had a smaller podium. And appearance matters when it comes to debates. It was agreed that Trump would be subject to fact checking during the debate, while Kamala Harris would not face comparable scrutiny. This was widely known throughout the company that Donald Trump would be fact checked. In fact, various people were assigned to fact check observations it was perceived candidate Trump would make during the debate. In fact, Harris' campaign required assurances that Donald Trump would be fact checked. This was done via multiple communications with the Harris campaign, whereas the Trump campaign was not included in the negotiations. My understanding, any rules negotiations and conversations pertaining to the debate should had should have had both the Trump and Harris campaign involved. The Harris campaign had numerous more calls regarding the debate rules without the Trump campaign aware or on the call, which, yes, like the fact that there was calls by the Harris campaign without the Trump campaign involved, that speaks volumes to the shadiness that we know went on, because you could see it. You could see that she wasn't fact checked. It's right there in the video. Show me the fact checking. No one can. I stated it. No one can show me she was fact checked. No one's came out and said anything of that regards. The Harris campaign was provided with sample questions that, while not the exact questions, covered similar topics that would appear during the debate. Furthermore, Harris campaign imposed restrictions on the scope of questionings, including, so yes, you kind of know the subjects because we are dealing with the two wars, the economy, immigration, inflation. So we know they're going to kind of cover those topics, but in how they word them and the things, like that was given to the Harris campaign. So she had the upper hand on that. And you can say, oh, well, they're giving you like the ideas of questions that would be asked. It doesn't matter. Were they given to Trump? According to this, they were not. And the scope was not to include questions regarding the perceived health of President Joe Biden. Why? Because they've been lying to you for 4 years. About 4 years about Joe Biden's mental decline. Why do you think Joe Biden wasn't doing a lot during 2020? It wasn't because of the pandemic. It was because the more they brought Joe Biden out, the more you can see that Joe Biden is not well. No inquiries related to her tenure as Attorney General in San Francisco. And we know that one because if you've watched any of the political ads and you've seen stuff, you saw that she did not convict people and let people go that ended up being murderers. She wants to tout out her convictions and the fact that she went after people like Trump. Yeah, meaning political opponents, maybe, because we're hearing about your tenure as Attorney General, and it does not sound good. No questions concerning her brother-in-law, Tony West, who faces allegations of embezzling billions of dollars in taxpayer funds and who may be involved in her administration if elected. Yeah, why would she want anyone to know about that? And the fact that if she's elected, he will get away with all of that if he's done it and be put in the administration, making deals that will make him super rich, because most people that end up in DC within the White House or Congress get stupidly rich. I showed you that Trump was the only president in modern history that did not make money off of being president and lost net worth. Internal organizational climate. I've observed a pronounced bias against Donald Trump within ABC. Employees expressing favorable views towards him experience significant concerns about potential retribution. Which, yes, you could tune into ABC and see all the time, previously and now, their hatred for Trump. They used to report on Kamala Harris in more of a negative light, as she was not perceived to be a good vice president, but they have changed that. Why did they change it? Because now she is their Democrat nominee. So they were forced to change it. They can't report any negative stuff like that no more because it doesn't support their end goal They get Kamala Harris in the White House now. She went from being the NBC lowest job approval rating vice president ever to being a nominee that is neck and neck in the polls with Trump, if not leading a lot of polls. And then somebody had the audacity to claim that the vice president has no decision making powers and they don't really do anything. Apparently, this person is so ignorant and does not know. First, Kamala Harris was put in charge of the border. They want to claim now that she was trying to find the root cause, and that's why she was put in charge of, is find the root cause of the migration. And what did they do? They just started flying people over and saying, you get a presidential pardon, parole, whatever. That they're just gonna say, okay, you're good to go. We're bringing you in. You meet these criterias, meet over at this airport, and hop on this flight. But the decision-making power she has is her vote in the Senate as a tiebreaker. That is her decision-making power. She gets to vote, the tie-breaking vote. So she does have decision-making powers. And needless to say, that person never commented back. They never do. Whenever you fact check someone on the left, even sometimes on the right, I mean, both sides can't be biased. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to message you back. This is just stuff dealing with the affidavit being signed and notarized. So, sworn, notary public. Yeah. So, nothing more on that affidavit. But what we do have is now the Associated Press is saying that the whistleblower was correct. Fact checking was only planned for Donald Trump, not Kamala Harris. And this is coming from LA Times, being told by the moderator, Lindsay Davis, which, if you don't know, she's in the same sorority as Kamala Harris was. Davis and co-moderator David fact-checked Trump several times, often incorrectly, while never fact-checking Harris once. See, they said it, not just me. Even when she used hoaxes, such as Charlottesville very fine people, which I even stated. Davis told the Times that ABC had deliberately targeted Trump and only Trump because of perceptions that he had been allowed to get away with false statements in the CNN debate against President Joe Biden in late June. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, David said she wanted to address concerns that Trump's statements could be allowed to hang there unchallenged by his opponent or their moderators, as they were when Trump and Biden debate on CNN in June. Davis, wearing pink glasses while speaking to the Times over breakfast at the Ritz-Carlton in Philadelphia, said the decision to attempt to correct the candidates was in response to the June 27th CNN debate between Trump and President Biden, whose poor performance led to his exit from the race, the Times reported. People were concerned that the statements were allowed to just hang and not be disputed by the candidate Biden at the time or the moderators, David told the outlet. Yes. Well, they could have fact checked, others fact checked, but it doesn't give you the right to only fact check one candidate and not even correctly fact check the candidate and allow hoaxes to be brought up by the other candidate. It doesn't give you the right to try to cheat in giving Kamala Harris a leg up on knowing a lot of what was going to be asked. And remember, there's an executive with ABC that gave the questions to Hillary. So you can't say this can't happen. This isn't a thing. We now have the admittance that it happened. There was an executive that did the same thing when working at CNN for Hillary. It's just they went further this time to ensure that Kamala Harris would win. And if you listen to solo interviews with Kamala Harris before the debate, and then you listen to Kamala Harris during the debate, and then you listen to her last solo interview after the debate, you can clearly see the difference. She uses what they now coin the phrase as word salad when talking about this debate and the way Kamala Harris talks. Everyone thought we might get word salad from Kamala Harris after the debate, and that didn't happen. Why it didn't happen? Because she was well prepared and helped in this debate. So because of that, we didn't have anything in the debate. There was no word salad. She was well prepared. They helped her. They were trying to ensure she would win. But before in these interviews and after in this last interview she did, we had a lot of word salad. She can't answer the tough questions. She laughs. It's ridiculous. Like, what more do you people need to see? I just don't get how some people can favor that because of pure hatred. And because of pure hatred, they're coming up with this nonsense and everything else against Trump. Just look at the policies. And people want to tout out to me that Trump had bad tariffs, that Trump had a trade war going on and it hurt farmers and they had to pay all these farmers. Well, guess what? Trump and Biden paid the farmers the same amount of money in the same time in office. So your claims are all showing that Biden did the same thing, except Biden had the same Trump tariffs, didn't remove them. He added to them for China. So your claims are all ill-founded, saying Trump did this, Trump did that. Well, Biden did this, Biden did that. Same thing. Biden put a lot of the immigration policies back that Trump had, except Biden decided that, hey, we're going to slow down what's going on at the border so we can just bring them over ourselves. That's the bigger difference between Biden and Trump. But it's happening. And Harris is a part of that, and she has no policies. Like, what has Harris really done that's been tremendous that makes you believe that she's going to be an amazing president? Can you really tell me? I haven't heard of anything amazing. I've heard people hate on Trump. I've heard people tout out such great things about Trump. I've heard all these different allegations that Trump did this, that, and everything else. But mind you, all of those allegations have nothing to do with his policies and being a president. The fact that he may or may not have paid off a porn star does not have anything to do with being president. And the fact that he may or may not have paid off a porn star before he was president. And he was president, and look what happened. Nothing. It didn't affect it. You can say there was a conspiracy to overthrow the government, but we haven't seen anything concretely proven. And We know that the Democrats did change some things on the election process to try to shore up the election. So you can't really say whether some things were legal and not legal depending on the new things they did to shore up the election, because you can't make a new law and then say that you did it prior to the new law and you broke the new law because it was prior. They want to talk about classified documents. Guess what? Pence, Biden, and Hillary Clinton all had classified documents and mishandled classified information. Same stuff. No charges. So toss that one out. Plus, again, those things do not have anything to do with being president. And remember, the president, they're the highest position in our country, if not the free world, as they call it. Like, this person is the highest position potentially in the world because of how we are always sought after to help other nations, police other nations, and everything else of the sort. And the fact that Russia has just threatened NATO and the USA with war on Friday, that should tell you that we need to make sure we have someone very competent in there and someone that is not afraid of any such threats and will make sure that we're not going into war if we don't have to. And the Democrats keep backing down and giving in to Russia. Because you guys want to say, oh, well, Trump's a Putin puppet. Well, then why didn't he take over Ukraine when he was in office? When Trump was in office, nothing happened. You had Putin there ready to do whatever, and he didn't do anything. At one point, Trump threatened the leader of the terrorist group. Guess what? You didn't see any more people harmed. No soldiers were harmed after that. But then Biden takes over. They don't adhere to anything going on that was agreed upon. And we had soldiers that were hurt. So y'all need to know that policy matters, and putting someone into office has to be able to stand up and not send us into a war. That's where I'm going to end it, people, because this is getting very lengthy. If you're still watching, I appreciate it. And let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next one.